puppy training is essential in any breed. Yet there are some breeds where there is an instinct from owners that less effort is required. We see this in Chihuahuas, where animals are spoiled and are left to do their own thing. However, their training is essential. The question is, how to train a puppy and just how difficult is it? Are these animals spoiled pets because they are so passive and sweet, or because training is so problematic? In this guide to training a Chihuahua, we will look at the issue in 3 main areas. There are the problems that owners can face with these dogs, such as how to potty train them or combat barking, and then there are the solutions that go with them. This means advice on techniques, aids, training guides, and obedience schools. In addition to this, we will also look at the psychological elements of bad behavior in the breed. Just what is it that makes these dogs tick, and so different to some other breeds? So, let's start with the question that is on everyone's minds here. Are they easy to train? Unfortunately for all those that find the Chihuahua to be cutest pup and assume that such a small dog must be easily to look after, there is a cold, harsh reality here. The short answer is no. They are notoriously one of the most difficult dogs to train and have an attitude and temperament that means that they can struggle to take orders and behave as required. These dogs can exhibit so many traits and behavioral issues that they can be quite a challenge. This all requires the need for small, consistent action from a young age, something that we will go into further later. There are many potential issues to watch out for, and it pays to handle them as quickly as possible. The first is one that many will have heard of: the small dog syndrome. What is small dog syndrome? The first consideration with how to train your Chihuahua is small dog syndrome. This is where we get cases of dogs that believe they are bigger and more important than they are. They are dogs that are overly sensitive and difficult to handle. This sensitivity can be seen in a number of ways, such as a dislike of being disturbed when eating, or of not wanting to move when in the way. Then there is the risk of aggression, which we will look at next. They are not the only dogs that have to deal with small dog syndrome. Yet, they are the breed that most think of when they hear the term. This is because the Chihuahua is such a pampered, highly strung little animal. For years, many saw this as a designer dog to carry around wherever they went in a bag, and some still do. This can have severe psychological consequences on the dog and its viewpoint on its world and itself. Dealing with aggression when training a Chihuahua puppy. While many think of bigger dogs as the aggressive type, such as working police dog GSDs and Rottweilers, or those with bad reps like Staffies and Pit Bulls, the Chihuahua is perhaps the more aggressive. It is certainly prone to biting when threatened and out of control. This aggression can be seen with other animals, which is often clear when taking dogs out to a park with a feisty Chihuahua. Then there is aggression with strangers coming into the home. The biggest issue here can be the possessive nature of these dogs towards the one caregiver that they most identify with. For example, a Chihuahua imprinted upon a wife, mother that gives it attention and food may show aggression with husbands and kids. This cause be a protective nature, but it could also be simple jealousy. On that note of devotion, it is also important to consider separation anxiety while training a Chihuahua. Separation anxiety comes into play quite easily with these little dogs if they are used to being around that one owner that are devoted to, and then find themselves left alone for what feels like a long period. It helps to train them to be independent when needed. There are problems, but there are also solutions. The behavioral issues above highlight some of the problems that owners have to deal with. Adult Chihuahuas that are allowed to be top dog and get away with murder can be stuck in their ways, making life difficult for families and newcomers. However, whatever the problem, whether aggression, barking or potty training, there are solutions. Also, the intelligence of the Chihuahua can play a big part when trained correctly. The first thing to do here is to start young. The most important thing to do with any dog is to start their training from a young age and to be consistent with it. You have to ensure that they learn their place in the pack from an early age. What this means is ensuring that they know that they are a dog, the family pet, and that while they are loved and part of the family, they do not rule the roost. This means they know that their master is in charge, they know that they are not top dog and can't bully other animals, that they don't have the same privileges in the household. Those that are spoiled and treated as equals, or even as above others in the household, will assume that this is true. This will make it very difficult for training because why should they then listen to commands? What about the problem of barking? There will be many owners looking to learn how to train Chihuahua not to bark. Chihuahuas can be quite vocal dogs, barking at everyone to either warn them off or get their way, depending upon which of the behaviors mentioned above they are most likely to exhibit. While they may think they are doing the right thing, because how else are these humans going to listen, it can be annoying to those involved. Guests don't want a yapping dog bouncing around them every time they come over, or they may just stop coming. Neighbors don't want to hear it through their walls either. One solution for barking is a Chihuahua training collar. It can sometimes be difficult to find the right training collar for these little dogs because of their size. Turn to a professional for help. Some owners may immediately think of an obedience school for training. That can seem like a great option for dog owners that want to give their pets a good education. However, you have to consider whether they will get along in that situation. Will they listen to correction from another handler? Will they be okay with all those other dogs and people in the class? Also, keep in mind that you will have to go at the pace of the class, which can be tricky with stubborn, hard to train dogs like these. The alternative is the online training guides. It can be much more appealing to owner to download a guide with specialist advice, something they can read, watch and use in their own time.